Aligning ourselves with truths. There seems to be within creation is obviously a loosely used term, but in my perspective I would call reality creation. And the main factor I have for using that term, the main convincing factor, is the perfection that is present within life. If we look at the planets, particularly the sun and the moon, we are, through science and through inquisitive pursuits, we have learned that the sun and the moon in particular are so perfectly attuned to harbour life on Earth that if they were minimally assorted in any other way, the conditions would not be 100% perfect to harbour life on Earth. That level of perfection is unparalleled as far as we can perceive in any other aspect of the known universe. That's not to say it's not, but what we have here is quite an astounding fact of life. When we bring that into our awareness, what comes is a sense of clarity, a sense of understanding, something which I feel is intuitive and a natural inclination within human beings, a desire almost to understand. It's something quite innate within human beings, something which has been pursued for millennia, thousands and thousands of years. When we acknowledge that force, that awesomeness, in my experience, a revelation takes place within us. We overcome a hurdle of that innate puzzle which we want to resolve, which I personally have that innate desire to resolve. And it's like a door is unlocked. So that's something which I feel is quite key to understanding ourselves, to getting closer to ourself, to the self. What we experience almost unwittingly for constantly is our breath. When we come into the domain of the breath, again, it awakens what I imagine for most people is a dormant aspect of the human being. For the majority of people, I believe. When we concentrate and breathe, and our attention is focused wholly on our breath, on the in-breath and the out-breath consciously, and I always try to bring myself to the pace of the celestial spheres, the pace of the planets. As a landscape photographer, I spend a lot of my time observing the rising and the setting of the sun. In doing so, there is a beauty, a hidden there's an experience to be had within those moments, within those minutes and hours, like an unfolding, like when we squint our eyes at night and something becomes more apparent. When we observe the sun at the setting and the rising sun, there is other aspects of reality which come to the fore, which become more obvious, And the words I was used to describe that aspect of reality are beauty, unbelievable majesty, and the profundity of existence and of the present moment becomes apparent and becomes slightly obvious. That's something I believe we can nurture in our lives to become to integrate that sense of being into ourselves, to absorb that wonderance, that awe-inspiring visual play. Back to the point I was trying to make, when we become aware of that experience, of that happenings, when we take our senses away from the mundane and what doesn't benefit us, our worries, our fears, our everyday the point I'm trying to make is, when we bring ourselves to that pace, we align ourselves to the power and the consciousness, what I would describe as the consciousness of the universe itself. Just when we become a part of the pace of the universe itself, it's a very methodical, slow, sure, steady pace. And I believe concentrating on our breath and absorbing ourselves into the realm of the breath, the intake and the outtake, it's very like the rhythm of the sea, the rhythm of life itself. And the more we integrate our being into that, the more we encounter life's intelligence, the more we become life's intelligence, life's infinite generosity, bountiful fruit, if you will. As I mentioned earlier, in terms of life almost being a reflection, of ourselves, or life reflecting itself back onto ourselves. This is something, it's not a new concept, it's not a new idea. It's something, and most of what I have to say is something which I have encountered and learned. As the saying goes, there's nothing new under the sun. But I believe there's turbulent times on the earth for many individuals. I myself have gone through some very turbulent times, and I believe this wisdom, which is attainable by any individual. I don't believe a middleman is required. And for example, when I talk about going into the realm of the breath, that is a procedure of encountering firsthand this intelligence, this love, this generosity, to realize that for oneself. So what I speak of, I don't speak of. I try not to look at it as a means for individual pursuit in my own life. I don't wish to garnish anything but to assist others in having this experience that I believe is very attainable, very accessible to each individual, and something which I feel arises a lot of conflict, the conflict of life, why we're here, what can we experience, what can we attain, what can we learn, what is the purpose of life, etc., etc. All these answers can be revealed and can be learned by absorbing the power of life itself into our being, by becoming aware of the forces that exist around us. It's all there. We just need to become conscious of it. We just need to open our awareness to it.